Good evening, everyone. DSP here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Thursday, the 19th of February, 2026. Today was an interesting day. Today, we had some surprising things happening that we talked about on the morning show. Today was Dragon Quest VII, and I was curious to see how it was going to do. And tonight, the late stream was a big question mark. I played Deadlock, the playtest that's invite only for the upcoming third-person action MOBA hybrid game from Valve. So how did everything go today? Let's talk about that, okay? Let's start off with today's morning show. I will say this. I think the morning show was great today. Why? Because we had a lot to talk about, right? We did. We were discussing various topics that people seem to really enjoy. Number one, viewer feedback. I was given viewer feedback about finding games that have cult followings and diving into those, because playing a game that already has a cult following, regardless of the fact if it could get a lot of views on my stream, still means that the people that will show up to my stream will guaranteed to be engaged and supportive of that game. Hence, why games like Hollow Knight and RimWorld are doing continuously well, despite me not having giant viewership when I stream them. And it kind of resonated and made sense, and I said, this year of 2026, that very well could be something that ends up being a big running pattern for me and my content. Finding games between the big releases, not skipping every big release, because I still want to cover big ones like Resident Evil 9. Of course, I'm going to be playing that, right? But perhaps finding these games that have a following that people have wanted me to play for years, and I just never gave them the time of day and given them a chance. Maybe that will be one of the big keys to my success moving forward, rather than focusing on every hyped game, every action game, etc. Right? So anyway, we talked for a while about that. And then we also talked about the breaking news that Sony had closed Bluepoint Games. And in summary, in a nutshell, just so you know, and this is why I think you guys should watch today's DSP morning show, I basically lost my cool. And I told it like it is, that what's sad is we have all the people in charge of gaming right now. It's across the board. It's Sony, it's Xbox, it's Nintendo, and it's all these other game devs too. They're making horrendous, terrible decisions based on the old climate of how games used to be and not how they are in the present day. They do horrible things, and then who suffers? The people who worked their butts off for them, not them. Why is someone who's at the top of Sony, who made the decision to force Bluepoint Games to make a games as a service, live service God of War game, instead of what they were good at, porting older games to HD versions, why is that person now fired? Why did 70 plus employees of Bluepoint Games just lose their jobs and not the person in charge who made the bad decision? So I talked all about that. It was a good show. I really think you should watch the morning show. If you haven't seen it this morning, I think that you'll get some enjoyment out of it. Okay. Then Dragon Quest XI reimagined again today. I'll just say this. This game at this point is actually not disappointing me. Now, I want you to understand it's not doing great. I'm not making gangbusters on this thing, and we're not getting great attendance on it either. But for the days that I'm streaming Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, we are getting a consistent viewer base that is engaged, liking the game, and pretty decent support. Again, it's not amazing over-the-top levels of support that I would like on every stream, but it's still pretty good, especially for a JRPG. I'm actually pleased with how these streams are going. And as I've explained, as long as all of my other streams are doing well, I can keep a game like this in the rotation that's not necessarily performing super well, okay? So today, even though, again, a slower stream of Dragon Quest, major progress in the game, continue to enjoy it. People who show up still like it. I'm having a great time with it. Great stream. No complaints. I hope for those who are following the playthrough, which isn't a lot, I hope you'll enjoy it. I love these classic JRPGs, and I think you'll really enjoy the footage that I'm putting out. It's the story is getting more interesting. We had two completely different plot lines going on today that were very unique and interesting. In one case, an entire town was petrified, and in another case, we had a town, or not really a town, but a group of people who are like traveling around, and there's a prophecy about them invoking the power of the Almighty to stop a demon king. It was really unique. And at the end, there's a party member who leaves. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So great stream. Again, you like JRPGs and classic games, check out Dragon Quest from today. And thanks to those who keep showing up and supporting those streams. You guys are awesome. All right. Undoubtedly, the big disappointment for me tonight was Deadlock. Allow me to explain. It's not the game. It's not me and my enjoyment of the game. All right. Here's what happened tonight when I played Deadlock. So Deadlock, for those who don't know, is a limited time. Well, it is limited time, but it is closed play test, meaning you can only play it if you get an invite to play it. Okay. And in this case, I did get an invite, and I played it 2 weeks ago during a marathon for about 40 minutes. I was intrigued. I had no clue what I was doing, but I was intrigued by it. I liked how it looked and I felt, and I said, I want to play more of it. So people for a couple of weeks said, yeah, do a stream of Deadlock. This will be awesome. We want to see you play it. Yes, it has a big learning curve because it's a MOBA fused with a third-person action game, but we think that if you take some time, if we help you out with it, you'll do well, okay? So tonight, here's the truth. Did I do well? No. But actually, for around the 2 hours I played it, I actually liked it. I think graphically, the game is gorgeous. I like the wide variety of characters, that they're all in almost like a Dark Stalkers lore universe where everything's like dark horror, Universal Pictures horror, monsters and the like. If anything, the one thing that didn't click was I didn't understand about how you have to grind against the minions and other things to get levels in the game. Because what would happen is I would start off playing well, and then about halfway through each match, I couldn't hurt the enemies anymore, and they would just steamroll me, and people started explaining by the end of the night, oh, it's a MOBA. You have to kill the generic enemies to get experience. You have to go to these side areas called jungle camps, which I didn't even know that's what they were called, and you take out these minions and things to get extra experience so you can buy the better things, and each character has a build that you can use, and the game even has a recommended build screen that I didn't really know about or understand. So it's complex. It absolutely is complex. But here's the problem with Deadlock. It's exactly the same situation as when I was playing Marvel Rivals a year or two ago. What's that situation? Because the game is highly action-oriented, I can't talk with you guys. Yes, I can glance over at chat and try to get quick advice to go back. It's not an interactive stream in any way, shape, or form. I can't have a conversation with anyone. I can't chill. It's just, here I am playing the shit out of this for like a big amount of time because the matches last a while. Okay. And so what ended up happening was this. Attendance, pretty darn good. I think we had like 250 plus on YouTube and over 100 on Kick. Why? Because it's a multiplayer game and everyone knows that I suck at it. So they want to be there to laugh at it and say I suck, right? But what ended up happening was exactly the same situation that happened with Marvel Rivals and just recently with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Everyone showed up. Almost no one supported. Today, I did worse on the Deadlock stream than I did on Dragon Quest VII. What? Yeah, and want to know why? This is the honest reason why. People want social experiences when they come to my streams now. This is no longer the old Phil who sits here for 2-3 hours just blowing people away in Call of Duty. This is not the old Phil who grinds in a tough game and everyone enjoys it. In fact, it's the opposite. People want to chill with Phil. People want to relax and have a good time and have that social interaction. Hence, even a game that doesn't get good attendance like Dragon Quest VII, because we're hanging out and having social interaction, people support it. A game like Deadlock, I can't do that because I'm trying to absorb this game, learn this game, trying to take advice from the chat quickly. Go, go, go. This is what happened with Marvel Rivals. In Marvel Rivals, it was all action. Have to focus on the game, trying to learn. This is what just happened with Black Ops 7. I had my best Black Ops 7 stream ever, kicked everyone's ass, positive kill-death ratio every match. No one wanted to support the stream. So moving forward, I think I'm going to have to be way more selective with certain kinds of games. I'm not upset about Deadlock. What I am is disappointed, and here's why. I actually really like Deadlock. I had a great time playing it. Even though I sucked at it, I still enjoyed my time with the game. I think it's a splendid game. It looks great, and I bet that game is going to be a hit when it finally releases. It's going to just sell like crazy and make tons of money for Valve through seasonal transactions, microtransactions. It's going to make a lot of money for them. I really get that vibe, okay? However, it just seems like with the current fan base and viewer base that I have, I can't play a game like Deadlock and be successful. You know, I can't make people come to the stream and support it if all they want to do is hang out and talk with me. You can't do that during that stream. There are people who want to come and watch that, and it's not a positive crowd. It's not. It's a crowd that wants to sit there and taunt and say, he sucks, ha ha, this is a horrible stream, he's a piece of shit. Well, that doesn't help me. that crowd does nothing for me at all. That's not how I'm going to be successful moving forward, is to feed the trolls their clips and shit, because you know they're going to make a million clips out of me sucking in the game. Look, he didn't understand how to level. He ran in, he got killed instantly, and then he raged about not getting support. That's all they want from me. And I don't want to give them what they want, because I'd rather do things that we all like. And tonight, what I got the feedback was the people who wanted to chill couldn't chill, and they were disappointed. There were people who liked the action, and they're not people who support my content. Okay? I even said, basically, there wasn't enough time to do a match at the end. So it was like 9:20. And I was like, there's not enough time. These matches are like 20, 25 minutes long. We can't do another one. So I just sat there and talked with the chat and explained. If people would support this stream, I would play it again. All right? I even said, maybe there's some people who really wanted to see me play Deadlock, and they just couldn't be there for tonight's stream. If they were to come by tomorrow and say, hey, I want to contribute for Deadlock, I want you to play it again and learn, I would do it, because I like the game. I'm learning it slowly. I'm getting better. There was a couple characters I really liked. The Ice Guy, the Necromancer woman, they were cool. I actually really like both of their character builds, and I would consider playing them again. Maybe if I focus on 1 or 2 games, I get better with them, or 1 or 2 characters, I get better with them. It'll do better over time. But that takes investment. It's going to take, I would argue, it would probably take me 2 to 3 more streams to just learn the basics of how this MOBA works, where to go, who to kill, how to level properly, what are the builds for these characters. Once that's down, then I can start to actually play well at the game. But I can't have 2, 3 more streams where I'm doing worse than Dragon Quest. I can't. So if in the next day or two, we get people coming by saying, all right, couldn't be there for it, we still want to see it, here's some support, please count it towards it, I will, and we'll play it again. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm just not playing it again. And again, it's not the fault of the game whatsoever. I like it, the game is sound, but that's just not what's going to work for my content these days. I'm really realizing it this year now. This is like, first it was eye-opening with Call of Duty, now Deadlock. It's the same situation. People want to chill, relax, talk, interact, have a good time. They don't want to see action, 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 action. Okay? Hence, why I was shocked when I brought back Street Fighter 6 last month and it worked for a month, but you noticed earlier this week it slowed down. And I almost would bet this might be a pattern. Maybe tomorrow night we're going to see what happens. But yeah, I would bet that basically the days of all nonstop action, it's not working anymore. That's not what people come to DSP Gaming for. They just want to have a good time with me. You know what I mean? So enjoy the Deadlock gameplay. I think you will. I would like, obviously, comments about how it went, what I could do to improve how the MOBA formula works. But the only way that I could realistically bring this back again for another stream is if people will say, we are actually going to support it, even though you can't talk with us during the stream. If people do that and buy in and say, we'll do it, I'll play it again. If not, we're done with these action stuff and we're going to move on to other stuff. There's tons of games. Someone made a great point. They said, Phil, you sound upset tonight because it sounds like you really like the game, but understand there's an ocean of games out there. You're going to find a bunch of games you're going to like and everyone else will like too. It's going to work. And I was like, you're right. I'm glad you said that, because it's not like, oh, I'm stuck now, I don't know what to do. There's a ridiculous amount of games out there to play and try, and I know we're going to find ones that work. It just sucks because I really liked this one. I wanted to play more of it, but I can't make people support it. Okay? Okay. Tomorrow's my final streaming day of the week, and tomorrow's another day that I don't know how it's going to go. We are going to do a level 1 podcast in the morning. One of the major subjects is I need a new controller. I need to find a controller for my Switch 2 that I can play retro games with for the upcoming Retrothon coming up on March 6th. So I'm going to try to get advice, look at controllers, and maybe get one tomorrow. Of course, we'll talk about other topics as well. Then the first stream is my first ever stream of Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which I'm very excited to try. I played it for about a half an hour during the marathon. I really liked it. It's an homage to old school beat 'em ups, such as the Ninja Turtles arcade game, Final Fight, Streets of Rage, stuff like that. Only it stars the entire cast of Marvel. You got X-Men and you got Avengers and you got all kinds of supervillains. It looks great, plays fun, and each stage has challenges. So it's not just surviving, but it's also trying to complete these awesome challenges. It makes it feel better and more interesting and challenging. I think it'll be a chill stream. There will be interactions during that stream. I'll be able to talk with everyone during it, and hopefully it does well. People seem to want that game when it came out in December, and then they wanted it during the marathon. So hopefully people will come for that stream tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow night is Friday Night Fights. I'm going to return to E Honda and Street Fighter 6. Again, I don't know how that's going to go because Street Fighter was doing well for a month, and then all of a sudden the other night, it was a slow stream. I was shocked. So let's see how it goes tomorrow night. Hopefully it goes well, and hopefully you guys will come by and support Friday Night Fights. All right? Everyone have a good night. Enjoy the stuff. See you tomorrow for the end of the week. Peace out.